We want to have good affiliations for the Mavericks, hopefully at the NHL level, really bring that level into professional hockey.
Pass right on the stick of Tonelli, coming in with Nystrom. Tonelli to Nystrom, he scored!
Tavares is in, John Tavares!
Ryan Trottier has been named winner of the Conn Smythe Trophy as the most valuable player in the playoffs. Trottier wins the Conn Smythe. Clark Gillies.
Well, there's the man who won it, Ken Morrow. Morrow doesn't know what it's like to lose. The gold medal followed by 4 Stanley Cups.
My name is Madeline Stroth, Public Relations and Communications Manager for the Missouri Mavericks, and it is my pleasure to introduce to you our distinguished guest today for our NHL affiliation announcement. First to the stage, I'd like to welcome Missouri Mavericks head coach and director of hockey operations, Richard Matvichuk. Missouri Mavericks general manager, Brent Thiessen. New York Islanders Director of Pro Scouting, Ken Morrow. New York Islanders Director of Sports Performance, Sean Donnellan. New York Islanders Director of Player Development, Eric Cairns. New York Islanders Assistant to the General Manager, Carrie Guider. I'd like to welcome to the podium Missouri Mavericks President and Owner, Lamar Hunt Jr.
All right, thank you all for being here. Do you think that Sean Donnellan looks like a team sports performance guy? By the way, if the press has a chance to interview him afterwards, I think it'd be worth your time to get a story from him about sort of the uniqueness of hockey training, but also how hockey training has been integrated into the overall picture of how all athletes are trained. You saw the video. The number one priority was to find our place in the world of hockey. And we've done that with the New York Islanders. We're pleased to announce today our affiliation agreement with the New York Islanders, the Bridgeport Sound Tigers, their AHL team as well. What this means for us is integration into the world of their scouting, training camps, coaching philosophy, strength and training, and really for our athletes here, what it means to be a professional athlete. We also want to win. The Islanders want to win. They're winners. Their improvement this last season, 13 wins over the previous season, the playoffs, 22 points better in the standings. It'd be kind of cool if we could all host all the cups, the Kelly Cup, the Calder Cup, and the Stanley Cup within the whole organization, and that's going to be our goal, to win it all. In anticipation of answering questions a little bit about who we had conversations with, out of respect for all the teams that we did talk to, we're not going to speak to that specifically. What we're going to say is the Islanders stood out because of their sincerity and really their willingness to help us in these key areas that I mentioned above, and that's the development of players. And we're integrated into their system completely. Our coach, Matvichuk, will be going to their mini camp in July for 6 days. So those sorts of things were really important to us, and it made a big difference. There are 569 former players, ECHL players that have played in the NHL, The Director of Player Development, Eric Carnes, who's sitting on the stage with us, is one of those players. So there is some significance to all of this. I think lastly what I want to say is our goal is to help each other win. It really is, and I think that's the sense we had in striking this agreement with the Islanders. Placing players at the appropriate levels, giving them a chance to develop into professional athletes, helping us build a solid winner, and really finding a place in the world of hockey in the United States and growing hockey in Kansas City, and that's been our goal all along. I'm going to introduce now Kerry Guider. He's the assistant to the general manager, and when I first met him, I thought, well, this is kind of a unique guy. He's just so smart, and and I thought it's an unusual thing. I didn't expect him to be so analytical, and what he does, and maybe he'll talk about it a little bit, of what he does is mixing the analytics of hockey with that scouting eye. And his story is an amazing story of just a young man, and I still could think of him as a young man, but as a young man who just kind of got his foot in the door with an organization and has really, through a lot of hard work, risen up and done the organization proud. So I'm going to introduce Kerry Guider of the New York Islanders. Thank you all.
Well, thanks, Lamar, for, I guess, boosting my IQ here, folks. I only got like a 1050 on my SATs back in the day, and so, but thank you, Lamar, for that great introduction. And more importantly, it's great to see so much blue and orange around here, folks. And it's, hey, here it is, our guys. It's our colors, it's our blood, and now it's nice to share likewise with you folks here in Missouri and Kansas City and Independence. But again, this wouldn't be happening without Lamar Hunt Jr.'s work and the guys and the staff to reach out to us and bring us out here, host us, and just discuss philosophy and more importantly, winning. I mean, this year for the Islanders, it was a good year, but there's no Stanley Cup for us. So in a way, we've taken a step, but ultimately you want to win a Stanley Cup, and it starts with a winning culture. And I know from my research, from talking to Kenny Morrow, who's a Kansas City resident, that's what the Missouri Mavericks are about. It's about winning. It's about having a shot at that championship and hoisting a cup, and that's what we're bringing here as an organization. We want to bring that type of culture and expectations from the top down. And with the Islanders, we look at the Mavericks as being an integral part of that winning process, that culture, and building habits within the players that we sign and we assign here. That the expectation is that one day is that they're going to win a Stanley Cup with us, and anything short is a failure. It really is, because at the end of the day, that's how everybody's judged. I'm judged on it, and whatnot, and the players and the coaches. It's and that's from Lamar, from Rich, from Brent. That was first and foremost, and when we spoke to them, and the dialogue was about having, hey, you know what, we just don't want to make the playoffs. We want to win here, and we loved hearing that, and we're going to do whatever we can to make that happen here. Lamar touched on it a bit. We're already working hand in hand with the hockey operations of the Mavericks to sign players that both fit our needs with the Islanders and Sound Tigers, but also with the Mavericks. So trust us, the ball's already rolling. The philosophies are being exchanged. The resources are there for us to share information with Rich and Brent to get the right players here for you fans and the people of Independence and Kansas City to know that you're going to have a winning product here. Trust me. I mean, that's our goal. And like Lamar said, for me, it's just finding the right players here, and that's how I'm going to get judged by my boss, by Gar Snow. I mean, it's one of my jobs with the Islanders is to be able to put the right players here that one day, hey, they'll be in Bridgeport, and hopefully that they'll be Islander players and be assets for all three organizations. Just in closing, thank you for hosting us. I mean, it's been a lot of fun. We spent a lot of time yesterday with some of the fans and beat writers and members of the organization, and we've been welcomed, and we look forward to being here. I mean, Kenny Morrow is going to be here on a full-time basis. Eric Cairns and Sean are going to be here, and I'll be here myself. So we're going to be tangible people, and don't be afraid to come out and shake our hands. And we're just average hockey guys living our dreams, just like you folks. And hopefully we can bring a winner here and work with management to do that. So thanks, everybody.
This is incredible. It's something that I really couldn't have dreamed of. From a selfish standpoint, it gives me a reason to attend a lot more Mavericks games. But, you know, two things had to happen, and they both happened last year. First of all, with the Mavericks move to the East Coast Hockey League, you know, it is the AA league for hockey, and NHL teams align themselves with the East Coast Hockey League team. So when that happened, you know, a light went off in my head. And then secondly, when Lamar came in and took over, I had met Lamar previously. I knew what his vision was, what he wanted to do with hockey here, not only professional hockey, but youth hockey, the grassroots level. Certainly, I shared that vision. So it was just a matter of putting the right people together with the Islanders, with the Mavericks, and it happened fairly quickly. And as everybody said, it's a win-win situation for our organization and for the Mavericks.
The question was, is there going to be a minimum number of players here at a certain time?
I don't even know if I'd say a minimum. I think it could be a maximum. It's kind of it's a really great question. We're working with Rich and the staff right now to pick the right guys, so I can't say there's a minimum. But if you look at our past with Stockton last year, I think at some point we had 11, 12 players in Stockton, so our commitment is here to have not only just a minimum, but a real good influence on the player personnel. So the answer is yes. I can't give you the minimum, but I can tell you there will be. There'll definitely be prospects and definitely players that are Islander influenced here, and but also we're just to kind of piggyback that a bit. We're working with Rich to help provide our resources for him to sign players that are strictly Maverick property, and providing that and just making the right decisions.
Yeah, no, the question is just expand on that, how we're going to be utilizing the resources of the Islanders within our day-to-day. I can tell you already that you know, we've already, as Kerry mentioned earlier in his earlier remarks, the ball is already rolling as far as trying to identify players that we would like to bring in here. Obviously, being able to utilize their scouting system, their coaching staff to identify players, not just their skills on the ice and their statistics, but also what kind of guys they are. You know, we've already spoken extensively about a strength and conditioning program that we're going to be utilizing all year. I think that there's going to be a vast difference between, you know, the day-to-day operations of the Mavericks from last year to this year. And that's going to be, you know, our philosophies are going to match with the New York Islanders and obviously Bridgeport at the American Hockey League level and us at the ECHL level. Our goal is to make it so that it's plug and play, so a player that gets called up is prepared to play at that next level, and that matches with the NHL philosophy as well. So, you know, I think our resources grew immensely today, and this is a very, very exciting day for our franchise moving forward.
No, the style of play is not going to change. We always want to play an upbeat, go get it kind of style of hockey where we really don't want to sit back. And you know, with the players that I'm discussing with Kerry now, it's you know, my horizons have expanded immensely. It's you know, look at players that I really, you know, when you talk about just at the East Coast level, we probably never had an option to sign. or even look at a straight East Coast level. But with the influence that Carey and the Islanders have brought us, those are guys that you can stress, growth to. And they know now if they start here in Missouri that our ultimate goal is to get them up to Bridgeport and then on to the Islanders from there. And, Carey said it best that hopefully one day when, we win and develop players here, that they go to the American League and win and develop players there and then on to win a Stanley Cup with the Islanders. And, when this came across our plate, for me, I was happy. It was an excited time for me, knowing that, part of their staff, not only did I get to play with some of their guys on their staff, but play against for a long time. I look at Eric that I played against for many years, and, Gar Snow, their GM, and Doug Waite, who was an ultimate rival of mine, playing in Edmonton for many, many years. And, on their scouting staff, a guy that I played with in Dallas for a long time by the name of Trent Collette. And, Sean was around when I played. And, it's a great, not only just an honor now, but it's a privilege to work with these guys.
Well, I think we were all disappointed with the results on the ice last year. And obviously, sports teams do go through cycles. That's just inevitable. No team can win every year. But it elevates us to being highly competitive and very focused on what we can do. I think last year we had nearly 60 players put on a Mavericks uniform. And that's very difficult on continuity and building anything, building team chemistry, even developing players. So we're going to bring that number way, way down. You're going to see some familiar faces mixed in with young, hungry guys who really want to play. As far as the vision, I think it sends a message to Kansas City, which I continue to say is one of the best sports communities of its size in the United States by far. It's just fantastic. The fans here are just amazing, and all the different sports they go and attend and are passionate about. I think this will be something that the passion will continue to increase, and we'll continue to draw very, very well. And our goal is to have sellouts, to make it hard for people to buy tickets or find them.
If there are no further questions from the media, there is only one thing left for us to do.